everybody and welcome to the First Aid Under Danger YouTube channel. My name is Niek and today I want to introduce to you the all new Generation 4 soft tourniquet by Tactical Medical Solutions. So this will be our first preview of the new soft tourniquet. We have an old one, we have a new one, and we're just going to compare some of the major changes that have been done to the soft tourniquet. And the biggest question, or the elephant in the room, if that is the right way to express myself, what is the biggest possibility for the SOF outmaneuvering the combat application tourniquet? And will the new Generation 4 be able to perform better than the CAT tourniquet does? Those are the questions that we are going to answer hopefully today, so stay tuned. So the first thing that we are going to look at, and I'll come a little bit closer to everybody so that you can see it. I'm first going to take it out of the package and I'm going to take a look at the back side of the tourniquet. We see some changes. For example, the sticker of the company and also where the date of manufacturing is made has been swapped out from this side to, let me take the elastic bandage off, to this side, so it's on the end of the tourniquet. And there's even still, you see, a little possibility to write down the time, and I believe that that same possibility was here on the tourniquet on the end. I think they've changed it to the end because this is mostly the part that you cannot no longer see because it's on to the side of the leg, so you won't be able to see the manufacturing date, you won't be able to see the lot number, and it would be strange if you want to combine, for example, the time and all the other information on this side, it won't be able to write down any more time. So I think that might be the reason why they changed it. Looking at the tourniquet rod, we'll see that the tourniquet rod, and I place my hand behind it so you can see it a little bit better, you see that the tourniquet rod is much slimmer. It's much tinier than the Generation 3 was. I don't know why, but I do see that this, is it still as big as the other one? Yes, it is. They just made it a little bit smaller, probably because if you want to have this on here, and that is the secure buckle where you can buckle it up, as you can see on the Generation 3, there was none. There was no way to do that. So for self-application, the soft tourniquet wasn't really great because of that problem. Because if we take a look at the Generation 3, the problem was if you have all of the pressure on your tourniquet rod, you needed to be able to get this little triangle and get your tourniquet rod inside that triangle. And that is very, very hard to do in a situation where you already have stress, you already are maybe in a little bit of shock because you're losing blood. So that wasn't the best solution. So they were speaking to resolve that by placing the open C buckle in there, but it never really happened until now on a Generation 4. But does it make it any simpler to use? What else has changed? Well, another main problem, because these are double looped, hopefully you can see it, they're double looped, and double looping means that it's not always easy to get the tourniquet on for self-aid because it doesn't really slide as easy as a single looping. So double looping never slides as well as double looping. If you take a look at this one, you'll see that this was far more squared out, so that is something they already changed. For example, also in the previous versions of the SOF, so the Generation 3, they already changed it in a little bit more rounded off. So that means that it's much easier to do self-aid. And now, if you have the full tension on there, you just need to slide it in here for self-application. But what I do miss, because you probably still, they want you still to also put it in a triangle. What I still miss is a way to close this off, to make sure that it doesn't get out if somebody touches it, because there is a lot of tension on a tourniquet rod, And this isn't plastic, this is airplane aluminum, so it's very sturdy. It probably won't bend because it can handle a lot more pressure, but that also means that if this snaps out and your finger is still in the way because you cannot secure it, it might be dangerous for your fingers because this is really hard and it could potentially break your fingertip if you get in the way as soon as it tries to unwind. So that is something that I do still miss for the soft tourniquet, but let's see how easy it is to get this tourniquet on for self-application. So first, we don't need it as big as it is right now. We need it like, what they say is make it about the width of a hand, so a little bit more. Like this probably. You see, this is about the width of my hand. I can place it in here, so that means that I can place it easily around an arm, but also place it easily around your leg. I'm gonna keep my arm like this, because if your arm is injured, you will not be very pleased moving it around a lot. And that is what I see. If somebody puts a tourniquet on their arm to make a statement, they always do it like this and like this. And that is something you will not do if you're really hurt, or if you have, for example, an amputation by an IED. You won't be wiggling your arm around a lot by yourself. So let's see what the possibilities are if I just leave it like this. What I did just do is make it a little bit smaller, so it's not even really the width of my hand, because I'm now not using this part anymore, to see if I can pull it tight in one go. So you need to place it really high as you can, so it is important that you can keep it there. So that's one thing you need to do, and then you're able, because you have like one go, don't let it go, walk back to your tourniquet and do the same thing again. And I believe now you have, but the problem is if I do it like this, I first need to pull it this way in order for me to do it like this. What I see most of the people do if they use this tourniquet, because I see a lot of those movies, what I do see is they do it almost like this. And if you do it like this, it's much easier. But I don't believe that people are willing to just go wiggle around their arm if it's only attached to them with one fiber. So people will tend to keep it as low as possible, and then it's still quite hard to operate this tourniquet. I do believe that this is a major advantage to what it was, but still you have the possibility that it might get undone, especially in the hospital setting. This could get undone much easily because there is no strap. For example, if you push it, or if you get stuck somewhere, it can pop out quite easily. So that is something that I do believe they still need to take a look at. But yeah, I do think there's a major advantage to what it was. Personally, I'd like this pattern feels better for your hands than this one. So there's a change in the pattern also, as you can see. These has much deeper stripes in it, and this is more like a rough surface pattern. So I don't know which one will be easier to handle with gloves. And this feels a little bit sharp. At some points it feels sharp, so let's see if we can how easy it is to rip gloves with this tourniquet rod, for example, instead of this one. So if I have gloves here, I'm gonna So I'm curious, I'm wearing back gloves, so they're quite sturdy gloves. So I'm very to see if, nope, Yeah, I must say, but that's just a personal preference. If I feel both of them, I really do like this pattern for the tourniquet rod more than I like it with the Generation SOF-T, but that's just a personal preference. I'm gonna look up if I can find why there is a different pattern on there, if they thought about it, if this is any better than it was, or maybe because if you have wet gloves, this from the Generation 4 might perform better than the pattern that this has, because this has deeper grooves. So yeah, if you have some blood on your hands, it can easily go through the grooves that are in the pattern of the new generation, the soft Generation 4. And these aren't very deep patterns, so that might be a reason, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just guessing. I need to fact check that for you guys and girls, of course. I do believe that the SOF has made a major breakthrough by placing the buckle on there. The buckle is made from plastic, but that shouldn't really be a problem. The tourniquet rod is still made of airplane aluminum, so it will not bend as easily as a combat application tourniquet. And one of the major problems with the combat application tourniquet is a malfunction or deformation in your tourniquet rod. That is one of the biggest problems with the combat application tourniquet. And the reason is quite simple. It's made of plastic, so it tends to bend much quicker than this. This is, even though it's much narrower, if I try, I cannot bend it because it's much stronger. So that is always an upside for the soft tourniquet. You can easily unbuckle it still, the same as you could with the Generation 3 soft tourniquet. So I do believe that is something that helps, especially if you are, like, for example, an EMT or a medic, and you want to place the tourniquet on somebody's arm or somebody's leg. You won't have to get it all the way out. You can just unbuckle it, buckle it up again, and that is much quicker. So that's also a plus for the soft tourniquet. There's no Velcro on it, so it's much easier to maintain it. And you can just dust it off if you have it, for example, on your ops vest. And yeah, if it does get really sticky and muddy, it won't unloosen because there is no Velcro. Still, I do believe, and I need to be honest, I still do believe that for self-application, because it is double looped, it still isn't as easy to do with the combat application tourniquet. I do believe that it can get as easy as, but you need more training and more preparation. For self-application, you really need to prepare your tourniquet in a right way, because if this is too long, you're gonna have a problem with self-application. So you really need to think about your gear and how you're going to use it. So I think that so not the whole width of your hand, but almost, that this is the right way to do it for self-application, because now I can just place it over my arm as high as possible, keep it there, and then I will be able to go like this, then a second time, and probably then it is secured enough. But what you do see is if I do it like this, you see what happens? Because this doesn't stay here anymore and it goes like this. It's just much harder to secure the tourniquet or get it as tight as possible as you can with a combat application tourniquet. And then I have the problem that my tourniquet rod is here and I need it here. So if it's really strong, really secure, might be much harder to get it from here to here and then turn it. But I do believe that this is much easier, because this triangle bit, well, that never really worked for self-application. So I do believe that this is a real good thing that they did. Looking at the differences in the SOF Generation 3 and the SOF Generation 4, there are a few things that really changed. So the tourniquet rod has become much narrower, smaller, thinner than the Generation 3. The pattern on the tourniquet rod has changed. And to my personal liking, I'd like the pattern of the SOF Generation 3 better than I did of the Generation 4. But there could be evidence-based research that shows that this pattern just performs better in a pre-hospital setting. I need to check it for you, but this is just my personal preference and the things that I just see now, getting it straight out of the package and showing it to you. The marcation has been placed on the end and the time is still on the same place. It's just a little bit more narrow than it was, or smaller than it was. And the biggest change that they did was, of course, the buckle where you can secure your tourniquet rod. That was one of the biggest problems for the soft tourniquet. So I do believe that this is really good that they did that, so it makes it much easier to use it for self-application. But I do believe, especially because of the buckle that can shift to the left and the right, you need much more training. It isn't as, in comparisons with the complete application tourniquet, it's easier to do, to get it high and as tight as possible. And I must say that it still isn't as easy with the SOF Tourniquet 4, but I do believe that because of the buckle, and if you're trained well enough, this could be a better tourniquet suitable for you because it's much stronger. I do believe that the SOF Tourniquet is much better as it was. Is it as good as the complete application tourniquet? Yes, in some instances it is. Is it as easily, as simple, or user-friendly? That is the right word. Is it as user-friendly at the moment as the Combat Application Tourniquet? Not in every regard, but in much more than it was with the SOF Generation 4. So it might be that for the near future we're going to swap around the Combat Application Tourniquet for the SOF during our practices, but I first need to find out if I'm just doing it the wrong way, or is it really true that we need more training for people to be able to do it as quickly as they can with the with the SOF. For now, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope you liked it. I like it. I always like checking out new gear, and I hope that you like our channel. If you do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell might be a good idea because I try to make a new video every week, and if you press the notification button, you'll get a notification. That is what the button is for. If you would like to order, for example, the SOF Generation 3 or the 4 or any other first aid under danger gear, just go check our website. I'll make sure to put a link in the description. For now, I want to thank you very much for watching. Please stay safe and bye-bye.